one of the things I want to talk about was your experience as a Christian in the secular world, because, we do, especially Christians that have really strong beliefs or really grounded, they think, hey, I need to go into some form of Christian ministry. I need to be doing something with a Christian label on it, right? Obviously, you didn't go that way. And so what would you say in general to those people who are struggling with those kind of decisions?
Yeah, again, God can use and does use just average believers in a secular world all the time, every day, all over the world. And I got to talk to people and be in situations as a believer that I never would have gotten to be in. I worked for, even after I left that beauty school, I played drums for one of the artists on the Grand Ole Opry for 4 years, who was a believer. And we played casinos all the time. And in every casino we went to, he gave his testimony to people who needed to hear his testimony. And he was never shy about it. Ricky Skaggs has been in the, he kind of lives a little bit in both worlds and is not afraid to sing a gospel song. But for the most part, he lives and moves and breathes in a secular world.
Right.
But nobody who meets Ricky Skaggs comes away not knowing who he is as a believer. It's like you cannot be around him very long without understanding that that's where he's coming from.
Right. Well, we were fortunate to have Dennis Parker on the podcast back probably a year ago, who plays with Ricky Skaggs.
Oh.
And Dennis, we actually were fortunate enough to go to the Ryman and see Ricky and Kentucky Thunder perform. Dennis was there. And Ricky actually let Dennis give his testimony, which is a powerful testimony. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch the podcast sometime. But I'm curious to get your perspective on this. When Dennis does that, when the guy that you were performing with, gives their testimony at a casino, how do you think that's received? What do you think the audience thinks about that?
I think it comes down to what they think of the artist. If the artist comes across as shallow and maybe not trustworthy or whatever, it's going to color what they it might cause an eye roll if that artist is not believable.
Right.
Or if it hasn't been obvious to them that this person, that this thing that he's espousing is real to him. If it just comes across as another element of a show, like we often see on the Grammy Awards or the Academy Awards or whatever, you hear somebody who lives like the devil all the time, thanking God in there, and I'm like, this doesn't compute. I'm happy that you're giving God a tip of the hat, but like it doesn't feel real. And so when somebody like a Ricky Skaggs or this artist's name was Jack Green, when they get up and people go, I don't know. They might even think, I don't know that I believe everything they're saying, but I do know that it's real. Like whatever, this is coming from a genuine place. I think that colors how it was received. We never got booed, or you never had people. They at least were willing to receive the message. Whether they ended up, buying in all the way, I don't know. But they were always willing to hear it. And I think that's what we buy ourselves with living honestly in front of people, is we buy ourselves a voice with an ability to speak to somebody where they're not going to go, yeah. It's real.
I think that's, what you said is key, not just for a country music artist who gives a testimony on stage. It's true for every single Christian that goes out into the world, right?
Right.
That's really that's what this podcast is about. Living authentically, living out our Christian faith, so that when we do have that opportunity to speak, it's not an add-on element, or we're not just giving lip service to something, or we're not just doing it for show. But people look at our lives, they look at how we've been living up to this point, and they say, you know, I might need to listen to what this person is saying, because they're living, what they're telling me is lining up with how I see them living.
Right.
Right. I think that's what you're saying. And you got anything else to add to that, or is that a pretty good summary of it, you think?
Yeah, I mean, to give, I was thinking about this. This was kind of one of the areas that you said you wanted to talk about, so I was thinking about this on the drive over. And I think the way you had it in the question was like, why is integrity important? Like,
Yes.
I know that
Yes.
that's important to you, and it is. And I feel like it's kind of foundational to every relationship. It's foundational to the way we move and live in the world. Like if you know, you can't see it, audience, but there's a set of steps right behind the cameras here, and if every day I went up those steps, a different one was broken, and there was a risk of me falling through the stairs and hurting myself. You know, it's not going to be too many days that I'm going to find another way to get upstairs.
All right.
And so with people, at least in my life, maybe other people can overlook it, but like if you're a person who is the equivalent of that set of stairs, that I never know from day to day if I trust what you said, if you're going to do what you said you were going to do, if you're going to be where you said you were going to be on time, or if you really believe what you told me you believe. If from day to day that's a moving target, then after a while I just, maybe if we put numbers to it, I could actually trust 80% of what you're saying. But because of that 20%, and I never know from day to day, then I don't trust you. Mm-hmm. And, you know, whether you're a politician or whether you're a pastor or whether you're the lady at the grocery store checking me out, checking my groceries, after a while, I'm going to find a different set of steps to go up. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to put myself through that sort of kind of stress of trying to figure out whether you're being authentic or true on a daily basis. And so especially if we as believers give the society or community or the people that you work with or whatever a day-to-day reason to doubt that we can be trusted, then what right do we have to try to share the gospel if they can't hang their hat on it? Right. And go, right. Again, like maybe there's something here, and because I trust him, I'm going to give him a listen. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give him an honest listen, right? Because the way he lives doesn't contradict what he's saying, and Christian or not, like you can't have a society built on that, right? A lack of integrity. It doesn't work in my mind. Right.
Well, and that's, you know, I did want to talk about it because, you know, I can say without reservation. I mean, I've known you, I don't know how many, 10, 12 years now. I don't know. You know, you live your life with integrity. It's easy to see in all of our dealings that you're a person of integrity. Very much appreciate that about you. You've always been very authentic in everything that we've ever done. And if you watch the video that Belmont put together, I don't think I said this earlier, but Russell was awarded the Curtain Call Award from Belmont for his career achievements as one of their distinguished graduates back in 2013-14 time frame. They put together a video about Russell's career, and we'll put the link up. I highly encourage you to go watch it because it's just neat to see. But one of the things that came through in that video was, you know, the producers that you work with, all of them, you know, integrity. He's going to do what he says he's going to do. He's going to be here when he says he's going to be here. When he shows up, you know, he's going to have a joyful attitude and spirit about him. It's not going to be a drudgery. And those are the things that make a difference over the long haul with people hearing what you had to say. And so I just want our listeners to understand that is just so critical. Living that consistent life day to day. You don't have to be a Christian superstar from the standpoint of
and not perfect by
Yeah. I mean, we
Scotty can tell you I'm not perfect, or call. He'll give you my wife's phone number. Not perfect, but it's definitely to be strived for, and I mean that's the overriding opinion that you want people to have of you. I think, again, not that you're never going to mess up, because I do and will continue to, but if that's kind of a defining characteristic of your life, I think it buys you an audience,
right,
with people.
Well, and it enables the kingdom of God to go forward, right? I mean, it validates the kingdom of God. Not that we're perfect in any stretch or anything like that, but it just, when we think about our ministry and what we're trying to do, we're trying to get people to live out the word, do exactly the kind of stuff that we're talking about right now. We believe that if people will do that, we have the opportunity to actually change the culture, right? Because there's so many people that are undependable, so many people that you can't believe, so many people that you just don't know if what they're saying is true or not. If we could flip that on its head and get Christians to be those kind of people, I think it would revolutionize people's view of Christianity as a whole, because they see that authenticity. And, my belief is that people are drawn to authentic people.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's great. Very, very good conversation. I hope people get that.